Recently, I have a client who is thinking of whether should he purchase Forett Bukit or should he wait for the Jalan Anak Bukit site to be launched, and he cannot decide which is better. So I decided to come out with this video actually for him. What I'm going to do is to compare a mixed development versus a freehold condo and see which is a better choice. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this channel on YouTube and click on the alert notification. Now, when we want to talk about a case study at a time, there are certain parameters I like to focus on first. Firstly, I'll look at properties that actually are 99 versus a freehold that has the same size of plot of land, which means they have roughly the same amount of the residences, and we want to keep it as close to the same number of age as possible, and also the same location. So I come up with these 4 case study. One is at Beach Road, the other one is at Red Hill, Potong Pasir, and Hillview. So let's look at Beach Road first as a case study. So Beach Road actually has 2 condominiums nearby. One is Citygate itself, which is a 99 mixed development, and at the prime of launch that time in 2014, that time it was actually launched at 1,800 per square foot, and right now it has actually grown to 1,971 per square foot. So in total, over the last 8 years, it has a 7% growth, and you can see the volume transaction for both 2020 and 2021. But on Kallang Riverside, which I can actually find the nearest possible freehold condo that is near to Citygate itself. So in the 2014, the price is actually 1,100 per square foot, and it actually grew up to 2,300 per square foot, and of course there's a 9% growth. So you can see that actually the freehold condo actually has a better growth rate, but however, if you look at the total transaction, there is only 5. So how about Red Hill itself? Red Hill, there's the next to MRT itself, there's a new condominium that is actually a mixed development that is actually called Atra, launched at 1,600, and the further away it is actually One Jervois that was actually launched in 2013. So it's actually older than Atra, but it's also the best or the closest possible freehold development as compared to Atra. And at that time, it was actually launched roughly around 1,300 per square foot. And in 2017, because I just want to keep the price the same, so I shall put it at 2017, it's at 1,500 per square foot. So you can see over here, interestingly, that the freehold development, the growth is so higher at over 32%, but the transaction volume is actually much higher. How about Potong Pasir itself? Potong Pasir, next to MRT, there's a place called P.L.U.S Residence, as compared to a much older freehold development that's actually called Euro Asia Park, that's actually further away from MRT station, and at that time it's actually launching roughly around 1,000, and you can see from here the PSF for both in 2022. So interestingly, you can see that this freehold development is actually cheaper than P.L.U.S Residence. The main reason why it is because it has a longer, it's older, it's very much older. I think it's roughly around 2009 or something like that, and of course the layout is actually not as good as what we have currently. But however, you can see that the growth rate, if you compare from 2015 to 2022 at the time, it is much higher, almost close to double. However, the volume transaction is actually much lower. Of course, last of all, if we want to look at Upper Bukit Timah, I think this is also a very good example to look at, which is actually Hillview. So the Hillview, we look at 2 properties. One is at the Hillia, which is a mixed development, and we have a very huge volume transacted. However, just to let you know that if we look overall from 2012 to 2022, the overall growth rate is actually -1%. Okay. However, you look at here Vista, which is a freehold development, the overall growth rate is actually 8%. And I also show you the transaction over the last 2 years will be in 14 units. So let me do a summary slide. I prefer this slide for me to explain better. So now this actually tells you what is happening. First of all, we look at the price growth. So the first row is the 99 property, like example Citygate, Atra itself, or P.L.U.S Residence. So you can see, and you can compare that with the freehold property price difference or the price growth. So you can see that overall, freehold properties actually make more profit than compared to 99 leasehold properties. However, if you look at the volume transacted, okay, for the 99-year-old property, you can see that overall a majority of it, right, it actually has a higher volume transacted as compared to a freehold property. What it means is that looking at all this, the summary was that freehold actually will earn much more than mixed development, okay, overall. However, there is a lower transacted volume overall for freehold properties. The reason is actually very simple. It is the main reason why is this is that because freehold properties is normally much more expensive, therefore someone would rather pay lower for a mixed development property, and by doing so, that time they will actually pay less. That's why the volume transacted is actually lower. However, of course, you will see that the outlier here is actually at red here, where you see the volume transacted for red here is actually very high. Why is that so? Let me go back to the slides again to show you. Now, if you look at red here, we are looking at Ultra versus One Your Voice. Look at the PSF, because One Your Voice is an older property. Therefore, One Your Voice, the PSF for a freehold property that is further away from MRT station is actually cheaper than a 99 leasehold property that is closer to MRT. Secondly, it's also because of the region, the where it is located. So One Your Voice located at right here is closer towards the CCR or core central region. Therefore, the people over there tends to have a tendency to purchase freehold property. And because money to them is not an issue. Therefore, you will see that the growth rate for One Your Voice is actually much higher, especially the volume transacted for One Your Voice is actually much higher as compared to Ultra. Okay, so however, also the second summary I also like to put across is that if you are buying a freehold properties, okay, looking at my past videos that I will put in the link underneath below, you also notice that if you intend to hold a freehold property, you should be holding over a longer period, because the longer you hold, the difference in the delta or the price difference will actually be much greater. So let me go through again this case study for my client that is actually asking me what would she prefer or what would I recommend. Would I recommend Forett Bukit, or would I recommend the new launch that is actually by Far East that will be launching around Q2 or Q3 of this year of Jalan Anak Bukit. So now, I just want to go through with you again that every time when I recommend a property to my client at a time, I always use my P.L.U.S system. Okay, I consistently talk my P.L.U.S system. So my P.L.U.S system actually consists of these 4 things I look at when I talk about investment properties. Okay, so I look at the price, the location, the URI master plan, and the sellability. So these are the 4 things you should always be looking at. But today, because we are looking at the same project in the same location, I will be only talking majority about the price and also about the sellability of it. So let's look at the price of this development. Now, in this Jalan Bukit site, right, we look at what are the comparable pricing that the price actually has been launched. So what you will see is that on the left hand side of these projects that is actually very close to it, you'll see that the price average pricing is roughly from 1,600 to 2,700 per square foot. Of course, Royal Green, I will consider that an outlier because Royal Green is in District 10 itself, is in the core central region, so I should actually be striking it off. But if you look at the remaining, pricing is actually between 1,600 to 2,000 per square foot. Of course, if we look at integrated transport hubs in Singapore that's actually been launching, the integrated transport hubs are actually 1,700 to 1,900 per square foot. So what are the pricing that's actually being quoted right now? If we look at Forett Bukit, you will see that the price is roughly right now, the price is between 1,900 to 2,200 per square foot. Let's assume that you are going to buy something that's 2,100 per square foot, or what I call the average that I think that you can actually enter into. As compared to Jalan Bukit Anak, now although the price is not out yet, but looking at what Far East history and also what the people on the grounds are actually saying, okay, or if you look at other articles that if you want I can link the articles to you, the expected selling price is between 2,300 to 2,500 per square foot. Definitely, looking at the previous slide, looking at the average pricing, these properties are not integrated. Therefore, Jalan Bukit Anak must be more expensive than Mayfair Modern, or must be more expensive than all of these. Okay, therefore I'm also looking at roughly 2003 or maybe 2002 if you are lucky. Okay, so looking at the overall pricing, okay, I expect a 1 bedroom to be roughly around 1.2 million, a 2 bedroom to be roughly 1.5 to 1.6 million, a 3 bedroom to be more than 2 million. Now, if you also want to know about location, I will always say that you have to understand your buyers next time. Next time you want to sell your property to someone else, you also have to understand why are people buying into Beauty World itself. So why is Beauty World so strong? Okay, number 1, because it's near MRT. Number 2, what the MRT is actually the downtown line. Downtown line is important because it goes direct straight into the CBD area. Thirdly, it has a very strong growth potential because there's a lot of up and coming transformation in beauty world itself. Number 4, very importantly, Pei Hwa primary. Okay, a lot of people like to buy properties around this region. Okay, and the reason is because they want to put their kid into Pei Hwa primary, which is within 1 kilometer away from it. Therefore, I've done is that all my past clients are always people who are looking into buying properties that can put your child into this school. Therefore, the 2 and 3 bedrooms will be more attractive, or there will be a higher demand for it. Okay. The 5th point will be also in the RCR region, and it is also transport is very easy because it's near Bukit Timah and it's also near the PIE. Of course, lastly, it's also near a lot of tertiary education like NUS, National JC itself, or even the Ngee Polytechnics. But let's talk about the sellability, because this I feel is also very key. So let's assume that you buy a freehold properties at 2,200 per square foot, and next time you want to sell this property, likely you'll be selling at maybe 2,400 to 2,500 per square foot. Versus a mixed development, let's say you buy a 2,300 per square foot, maybe you want to sell at 2,700 per square foot. Ask yourself this question. There's no right wrong answer. It always depends on the supply and demand, and you have to ask yourself is, which do you think is more sensible when you want to sell your property out into the market? Okay, who is your future potential of your future buyer? Okay, now can this future buyer who is going to buy into this location, can they afford the bank loan? Which means, will they have enough cash to buy this property? Okay, and lastly, does the cost justify the convenience of buying into a mixed development at 2,700 per square foot? So these are the questions that you have to ask yourself before you even make a decision of which is a better purchase to buy. Now, my conclusion is this. I would say that not all units are created equally. Definitely, Forett Bukit, there are some units that are very good that I will always recommend to my clients. There are also some units in the Jalan Anak that I will also recommend to my clients. Of course, there must be a threshold of the PSF that I will only recommend to my clients. Okay, so you have to ask yourself is, what is the size, the layout, the type of facing, and the pricing that you are comparing with. You know, we have to compare apples to apples of these two projects. So what we have been doing right now or previously in this video is that we are looking only at the macro picture. But how about the micro picture, which is which unit is best for you to choose? Okay, and what is your preference or overall objective when you want to buy a unit? Are you looking at convenience, or is freehold more important to you? And in fact, my 2 important questions that I always ask my client that you should ask yourself is that, what is the entry price that you are entering into when you want to buy this unit? Okay, of course, every unit, like for example, Forett, we have 2001, we have 2,300 per square foot units. So which of course is a better property? Okay, so, and especially is, what is your exit strategy? Know your exit strategy when you want to sell. Of course, what I would suggest is that if you are holding it short term, maybe I would say that you can wait for the Jalan Anak. But if you are looking at it long term, okay, maybe 10 years or 12 years more, I would still feel that Forett is actually a much better investment. So I do not, this is actually my conclusion for you. I would say that it is still better that you speak to me personally and to decide which is for me to understand your needs and wants before I will give a proper recommendation. So for those of you who has been watching my video, I hope that this helps. And this video actually is just a comparison between a mix versus a freehold development, or to see which is a better choice for you. There's no right, wrong, or wrong answer. It's just a comparison. And if you like this video, or please give a thumbs up button. If you have anything to comment, please feel free to comment below. I will definitely answer you. Thank you, so long, and bye.